All right. Thank you. All right, good evening. I call this public meeting of the North Clackamas School District Board of Directors to order on Thursday, September 7th at 6:30 p.m. I would like to remind our community that the purpose of our board meetings is to conduct the business of the district first and for everyone to learn about the district in a safe and productive manner. So community comments. Community comments is an opportunity for our community to share their ideas and opinions with the board. Input is welcomed and valued. It is our duty to keep it safe and respectful for everyone, students, staff, and our community. This is not a time for discussion or debate. If you have materials for the board, please give them to the board secretary, who will distribute them to the board members after the meeting. Letters to the board are always welcome, and each of us reads the input. Requests for information should be requested as outlined in policy KBA-AR. Any individual desiring to speak will have indicated their desire prior to the board meeting. Any speaker will be required to give their name, city of residence in the group, if any, that is represented. If there are more patrons desiring to present comments than time allotted, the board chair has the authority to reduce the presentation time for individual speakers or institute a prioritization process with first priority to students in city of residence. Speakers may offer objective criticisms of district operations and programs that are of a concern to them. The board is restricted from hearing and will not consider complaints regarding any individual district staff member or any person connected with the district. As an organization centered around youth and their positive development, all speakers will model respectful public comment and be mindful of civil discourse. We will keep the order of speakers announced by the chair, me. So welcome. We are going to begin with Kylie Corbus. So welcome. Yes, that is fine for this evening. Thank you. So please state your name, city of residence, and a group, if any, and then the clock will begin. Stop together again.
Okay, I'm Michael Corbus, Oak Grove. My goal this year in speaking out is to bring the North Clackamas School District to a balance between all viewpoints and not favoring some over others as they have in recent years. We want to affect change. Last school year, we pointed out many instances of bias and hate against my kids from other students who were in one of your favorite quote unquote marginalized groups. An investigation was promised by one of you, but never followed through on really. We plan to continue to expose these incidents if and when they happen until we see change. But this year specifically, in order to affect change, we want to expose the systemic bias in this district that favors certain viewpoints and values while attempting to silence or dismiss others. When I speak of others, I'm talking about my values that I and many other families in this district share, values that are derived from our faith and our worldview. We identify as Christians and conservatives. We all have different identities, and if some identities are honored with a banner on the wall of a classroom, then should not all identities be honored with a banner on the wall? It's a good question. All identities should be equally protected and not some seen as irrelevant and silenced based on the dominant political opinion in the district. Either that or no identity should be honored on the wall of classrooms. Also, we plan to expose those few incidences involving individuals, without saying their names, who engage in the worst and most egregious examples of bias and hate, and also expose the compounding wrong of a district administration and school board that looks the other way. My daughter Kylie will have a good example for next meeting, and I don't think you want to miss that. I'm not going away. I have no fear because we have heard from many parents in the school district boundary and employees, you would not believe who, in the school district who have told us privately to keep speaking out because it is making a difference. We will not be silenced. We want to affect change for the benefit of all students and families in this district, not just some, no matter how they identify. Thank you.
All right. And Michael, you are also signed up.
Yeah, you can waive that.
All right.
I wasn't sure if I'd get it all done.
All right, we'd like to now call Laura Kirk. Welcome, Laura. Please state your name, the city of residence, and a group, if any, and then the clock will begin.
Hi, I'm Laura Kirk from Milwaukee, and I'm with Sojourner School. Hello, my name is Laura Kirk, and I am the parent of 2 children who attend Sojourner School, a K-5 magnet school that is part of the North Clackamas School District. I am here today to share my perspective as a parent on some of the achievements and successes of our school community. Sojourner is a public school that is founded on the multiple intelligences theory, which identifies 8 human intelligences that elementary schools should address to help children achieve their highest potential. Excuse me. The unique curriculum incorporates additional courses not typically offered, such as violin, a music class about more than music called ORF, Spanish, and a creative class called Flow, but does not charge any tuition or fees for our students. There's even an optional marimba band for 4th and 5th graders to participate in. Our magnet school is a free and equitable option for families who want to give their children an incredible full spectrum education so that every child has a chance to show how smart they truly are. Any student that lives within the district can apply to attend and are chosen through a lottery system. And as a magnet, we can also use district transportation. I've been on the PTA for the past 5 years and a member of the foundation for 4 years. And I've witnessed the excellence and innovation of our teachers, staff, and volunteers. The foundation fundraises every year to pay for the staff that provide the additional programming that makes our school so special. Sojourner has recently been recognized by its community. In an article dated August 11th, 2023, the Portland Business Journal ranked Sojourner School as the 4th top school in the Portland metro area. This recognition from our community is a reflection of our school's quality and excellence. Also, I'm delighted to share with you the story of one of our former students. Over the last summer, she posted the image of her current research project presentation as a second-year biology major at a university. She told us attending Sojourner and doing research and presenting
All right,
projects
Laura,
twice a year
Your time is up.
contributed
so
to
you
her
could finish that
success.
sentence.
Okay.
All right.
A lot to say.
I know.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, and Megan Robinson. No? Okay. All right. And letters we received since the last meeting are also a letter about a concern at a fence at Riverside and a question about a bus stop request. All right, we will now move on to our native land acknowledgement. We will begin. Director Way will lead the acknowledgement this evening.
Thank you, Chair Benaloga. Okay, we acknowledge the land on which we sit and which we call the North Clackamas School District rests on the traditional and indigenous lands and village sites of the native peoples of the Kalapuya, Chinook, Molalla, and the Clackamas. We take this opportunity to offer gratitude for the ability to learn, work, and be a community on this land, and we offer thanks to the original caretakers of this region. We recognize the historic policies of colonization, genocide, relocation, and assimilation that affected Indigenous and Native families, both past and present, and that will affect those in the future, and honor the resilience and revitalization of our Indigenous and Native communities. We pay our respects to the elders, both past and present, who have been the stewards of this land throughout the generations.
Thank you. Let's please rise. And Director Kemp, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening?
Yep. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the board packet, you will find the minutes of August 24th, 2023 meeting of the North Clackamas School District Board of Directors. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Chair, I move to approve minutes for August 24th, 2023 of the North Clackamas School District.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It has been moved by Director Way and seconded by Director McVeigh that we approve the minutes from August 24th, 2023 meeting. I will call, we can do yay or nay now. Okay. All right. Since we are in person, we can do yay or nay. All those in favor of approving the minutes from August 24th? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Excellent. Motion passes with a vote of 7-0. The minutes have been approved. Thank you. In the board packet, you will also find the consent agenda for this evening's meeting. The list on the consent agenda is employment changes. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Chair, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Excellent, Director Wachter. Thank you. And do we have a second? Excellent. Is there any discussion? All right, it's been properly moved by Director Wachter and seconded by Director Bauer that we approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Excellent. On a vote, motion passes in a vote of 7-7. Thank you. 7-0. Thank you. And our superintendent's report. So our new administrator introductions. Next on the agenda is superintendent's report. I welcome Superintendent James.
Thank you. Good evening. So we've been really excited that we have successfully launched a new school year this year. And so while we'll share some initial information with you this evening, I will be back at our next school board meeting to share more detailed information with you as well. So this will just cover kind of broad strokes tonight and introduce many of our new administrators who are also here. There we go.
Here we go.
So this year, we welcomed back our district leadership team in early August, our classified and certified staff mid to late August. And our time together this year was really framed in aligning our arrows in the same direction with our strategic plan and our district core values, which was really at the heart and the center of it. In welcoming a new school year, we excitedly welcomed back a little less than 17,000 students this year, over 2,000 staff, and many of our families that we were excited to see returned. And you can go ahead and put them all up on the slide. Here you will see pictures of many professional development and institute learning that we had. We had our dual language immersion institute. We had a professional development with our nutrition services group, professional learning communities, content level teams. We had some really exciting professional development for classified staff that was new this year. Our early literacy continues to be a focus for us, as well as 9th grade on track work. And so here you see some examples of the different work that was happening with really promoting a culture of collaboration that was in there. So in addition to this and much more, we also launched our new teacher orientation, in which we had upwards of about 100+ new teachers that attended that, and that was very exciting. We hosted a 2-day literacy institute in August and several different math workshops, and also put into motion our high leverage instructional practices and strategies for all content areas that our leaders really led in our buildings with our teachers, and that was exciting. So you can see there's a lot to celebrate at the beginning of this year as we've moved on. This was pretty fun here. Yes. She sees herself up there swinging with the kindergartners. So we kicked off convocation this year with attention to, I jumped ahead a little bit. So as we were equally excited to welcome back our students this week, here you see some pictures and displays of fun that we experienced as our assistant superintendent and our executive director of teaching learning and myself had a little bit of fun out with kindergartners as they were exploring kindergarten exploration. We got to watch some kiddos roll rolling down the ramps that look like hills and trying to get into line and introducing themselves and teaching them how to swing and moving their legs back and forth. And just truly, it was pure joy to watch them acclimating to this. And we got to hear over and over from the teachers that we were able to talk to during kindergarten exploration about how much of a difference this program makes. It's a 2-week program in which every single school has at least one classroom and allows kids to come back early and kind of just get acclimated before the school starts. And so I just want to publicly thank our staff for getting schools up and running and being present for our students. And so here we go into our strategic plan and convocation, in which this year we really focused our attention on our strategic plan and our core values. We had a team of staff from across the district led by Jen Dove-Kiltow and Dr. Jeremy Cohen, who really worked to define and create definitions for each one of our core values, in which you see at the bottom here: equity, relationships, integrity, empowerment, and care. And so I wanted to publicly thank this team for doing this work. But what was even just really more powerful was during convocation, we got to see some of our students and a few of the kindergarten, first grade, second grade, who were our news correspondents. And so they were out in the field and they were really talking with other students about what do our core values mean and how did they define them, and helping us to learn about that. And so we're really looking forward to continuing to work with our students and hear their student voice as we move forward with this work in core values. So, in another exciting piece is we have welcomed many of our new administrators to North Clackamas School District. And at this moment, I want to take a second to introduce them to you via our video. And then afterwards, I will ask each of them to stand and also introduce, with their name and what school that they're at, so you can physically put a name to a face while we're here. Our communications department put this video together and did a pretty awesome job, even us squeaking in some last minute hires at the last moment. And Shay, you're killing us here with this, but they came through and really did a great job. So we'll go ahead and play that.
Well, the calendar has turned to August, and that means community members are squeezing in their last bits of summer by gathering at events like this one from all corners of our school district. It's Movie in the Park night here at this North Clackamas Park, where we've met families from all of our 4 district feeder systems that make up our NCSD community. And ready to serve that community are our North Clackamas administrators, some of whom were on the job way before this movie tonight even premiered.
Don't say that. Never say that. Goonies never say die.
While others are making their big screen debut, or will be playing a new role in our district this year. Shh, it's time for the previews. Okay, it's about time to start the show. But before we do, we want to acknowledge three very valuable NCSD administrators who may not be changing offices this year, but they are getting a new title in the opening credits. Patricia Ahrens has been Academy Award winning since her debut last year in elementary programs. She moves from Associate Director to Interim Executive Director of Elementary Programs. Rob Holloway, straight off an award-winning performance as a loving dad accompanying his wife and daughter at a Taylor Swift concert, moves to Associate Director of Teaching, Learning, and Professional Development. And who could forget Yvette Lightbourne, who captured the hearts of North Clackamas colleagues last year by making faces like this, has also been cast as an Associate Director of Teaching, Learning, and Professional Development. And a couple of last-minute edits straight from the director's chair. Just before the year was about to premiere, NCSD signed two more A-list administrators. Please welcome Dr. Jose Silva, whose recent highly acclaimed work came as an assistant principal in Las Vegas. He'll play the same role, but with middle school staff and students at Rao Middle School. And love is in the air at Clackamas High School. After a decade of critically praised work as an administrator in Portland Public Schools, Candace Love is now on the scene as assistant principal of Clackamas High School. All right, the previews are over. The popcorn is popped. It's time to start the show of the 23-24 school year, which means there's only one thing for this crowd to say.
So thank you to our communications department who put that together. And as you can see, we have some administrators that have changed to a different position, but we also have many that are here that are brand new with us. And I'm going to ask you all to stand if you are brand new with us. And even though I know we just saw your face and your name, I always think it's helpful if we hear your name and your location in person. And so I'll start with Brian, and if you can say who you are and where you're at, and we'll go around from there.
Brian Shafar, hello. I am at Rex Button High School as an athletic director.
My name is Tom Moore, and I'm athletic director at Milwaukee High School.
Danielle McKay, assistant principal at Milwaukee High School. Emily Moore, principal at Rao. Dana Capalucci, athletic director at Adrian C. Nelson High School.
I'm Christina Vasquez. I'm an assistant principal at Adrian C. Nelson High School.
Hi, I'm Megan Filio, assistant principal at Gathers Mountain.
Hi, I'm Nathan Mount. I'm the new principal of Bill Crystal.
Good evening, Jose Silva, assistant principal at Rao Middle School.
Good evening. I'm April Santiago.
Thank you all for taking more time. I know it's been a long couple of weeks and we appreciate it. And I know our directors are happy to meet you. Please know that we would love to have you stay, but also if you have other obligations, you are welcome to leave at any point this evening. So thank you for being with us.
I'm sure you'll get online.
Hard
and then
feelings.
you get the card.
Yeah. They've had a long couple of weeks, as you know, preparing for students and open houses and students coming. So I'm grateful they were here. And as many of you know, we are having growing awareness of our upcoming North Clackamas School District Teachers Levy. And I would like to encourage you all and remind you to share information about why our school district is proposing the levy and what the levy would fund. The current levy that we have expires in June of 2024. And the North Clackamas School District Board approved putting the proposed levy on the ballot for November 2023. And I just want to remind folks that this is a renewal that would maintain the existing tax rate that is currently here. And if passed, would retain 180 teachers as well as current class size averages. So that's something that I think our community will continue to hear more about over the next few months. So thank you, and looking forward to sharing more about the upcoming year at the next school board meeting.
Excellent. Thank you. Is there any discussion from any board directors? Excuse me.
Thank you. I'll start off. At the beginning of the year is always very exciting. And so it was great to see the video that I thought I needed popcorn at some point and snacks. And so I think Curtis, I see you back there, but just tremendous job with the videos and also just the amazing staff and administrators that we have. So thank you so much for wanting to come to our district and serving our communities and families.
Thank you, Vice Chair Way. Any other director have a comment or discussion? Yes.
Thank you, Chair Penaloga. Yeah, thank you for the report and welcome new staff. It's great to have you as part of our team. And I know you've picked some excellent people. The convocation was great too. I just wanted to comment on that. And the kids it was just, we enjoyed it. It was great. And thank you for all the work you do on these projects. It does get out to our community and it's important. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion or comments from other directors? Yes, Director Dobson.
Yeah, I just also wanted to say thank you for the presentation and welcome to all of the new staff members, administrators. I know what I've been through in the last couple of weeks trying to get 3 kids ready to go back to school. So I especially just want to thank the staff for this, which was amazing. I'm so pumped. But for bringing that feeling of, readiness, of excitement, of preparedness, to 17,000 students in the district. That's hard work and appreciate you.
Thank you. Any other director have a discussion or comment? All right. And I also just wanted to thank Curtis and the communications team. They just do an amazing job. So creative. And I love how all of you participate and swing on swings for us, Miss Tammy O'Neill. Lots of entertainment, and that Curtis Long has the ability to get an entire park of people to say, welcome back to school. I think that is a magical gift that he can get an entire community park to follow his direction in his movie. So I just think it's wonderful. And I think, again, I want to just echo the sentiment that the energy is wonderful. It's been wonderful to go into the schools the last couple of weeks and just see the energy and feel it. And I really feel, we're off to a wonderful start. So thank you all so very much. And thank you for your report, Director or Superintendent James. All right, next on the agenda is the Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month proclamation. Director Bauer, will you begin reading the proclamation?
Thank you, Chair Benaloga. Thank you for printing this out. I can't get it on my computer, so that works great. Whereas each year the United States observes National Hispanic Heritage Month by celebrating the culture, heritage, and countless contributions of those whose ancestors were indigenous to North America, as well as those who came from Central and South America, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Spain, and
Whereas what began in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week under President Johnson and was expanded by President Reagan in 1988 to cover a 30-day period starting on September 15th and ending on October 15th.
Whereas this year's theme, Latinos Driving Prosperity, Power, and Progress in America, invites us to celebrate Hispanic heritage and to reflect on how great our tomorrow can be if we hold on to our resilience and hope. And
whereas, although too numerous to recognize individually by name, Hispanic and Latino individuals serve as civil rights leaders and community organizers, politicians, soldiers, educators, journalists, first responders, pioneers in art and science, healthcare professionals, athletes, inventors, entertainers, and so much more. And
whereas Hispanic and Latino individuals continue their rich history of significant and diverse contributions to the cultural, educational, economic, and political vitality of our communities.
Now, therefore, be it resolved that the North Clackamas School District hereby proclaims September 15th through October 15th, 2023 as Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month and encourage all residents to honor the rich diversity of the Hispanic and Latino communities and celebrate the many ways they contribute to our nation and society.
Is there a motion to approve the proclamation?
Chair, I make a motion to that the board adopt the proclamation recognizing September 15th through October 15th, 2023 as Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month in the North Clackamas School District.
Is there a second?
McVeigh, second.
Excellent. It has been moved by Director Way and seconded by Director McVeigh that we approve the proclamation for Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month. Is there any discussion? All those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Excellent. The motion passes with a vote of 7-0. Adopted this 7th day of September 2023. Is there any comments? Vice Chair Way?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I just want to share a couple of remarks. as a district, I'm just very proud and very honored that we get to really take some time at our board meetings formally to recognize not only these proclamations, but really connect how these proclamations also connect to our students and our families and communities. And so for folks who identify as Hispanic and Latino, we want you to feel heard. We want you to feel seen. And we encourage everybody to attend community festivals and celebrations that are not only happening this month, but this throughout the year. And I also want to give a special recognition. I know that we have several Latinx student unions that are in our high schools, some in our middle schools. And so, this work of really embracing all the different identities and cultures that we have, it starts in our classrooms, and it starts, I think, in having conversations and recognizing all of the amazing strengths that we bring together. So I just want to make that comment. And sorry, just another thing I want to tack on is that the day of September 15th is pretty significant also because it's the anniversary of the independence for the countries of Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. And in addition, Mexico and Chile also celebrate their independence days on September 16th and September 18th, respectively. So I think it's important to also call out and recognize specific countries that are under the Hispanic and Latino heritage. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Wei. Are there any other comments or discussion items? All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is our board reports. Customarily, board members report on their activity within the school district each month. This time is set aside for each board member to share a report and to hear from those board members who attended the summer OSBA conference. Director Bauer, would you like to tell us about your summer?
Well, thank you. Yes, I did attend the summer conference with some of the other board members. I attended Friday and Saturday. Friday was a review, but it was good for all of us, for me too. There's things I forget. And there was a lot of new board members. So it's also about meeting and engaging other board members from all over too. We had our regional, and it was good discussing with them their board climate and things that they were doing and things, different issues that they were dealing with. That's always good, coordinating with them. There were a lot of charter school leadership that was in attendance. I was surprised at how much, but there was also the reports on the legislative policies and laws that were changed that will affect our policies was really informative. And I really am always grateful for that. The key speaker was inspirational, sharing his personal story. And I think it's about the quality of teachers in his life and what a difference that makes in every child's life. And I think it's so consistent with what we're talking about now, the start of school. My granddaughter started school. She started kindergarten. And when you talked about pure joy, the video I have here, and they said, "How did you like it?" I loved it. So it just warms my heart. And again, it speaks to the value of our staff and our teachers. This teacher's levy that's coming up, all the board members have supported it, and they're involved. We're working on it. We need this passed. As our superintendent said, it's a no tax increase. We have to hang on to 180 teachers. We need to hang on to our programs, our hands-on programs, all of the very valuable programs that we have. So we started working on it, and we'll be out in the community. More people will be hearing about it. And I'm asking people out there, step up, pay attention, get involved. So it's really important. But thank you so much. I think the other things, I did attend, 4 open houses. And that, again, just connects me with the community, and to feel the positive excitement with parents and students, and then to have those great talks. It was a lot of fun. So thank you so much. And yeah, summer's gone by. I can't believe it. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Bauer. Director Dobson.
Thank you, Chair Benaloga. Well, it was review for Mitzi, but it was all new for me. So I really appreciated the Friday session of our OSBA conference this summer. And in addition to, board policy basics, it was really great to meet other school board members from all over the state. It really just reinforced, from Portland Public to Coquille to John Day, we're all just, community members invested in our students, with a firm belief that there's no crisis in the state of Oregon that won't get better if we invest ourselves in educating our children in public schools. So, just really, it was really great to listen, to learn, to celebrate, each other's achievements and, support each other's goals, for the upcoming school year. So yeah, that was a great experience for me. I'm also looking forward to working on supporting the bond levy. I have thrown my support behind it with an official endorsement, and look forward to every opportunity I have to take the message to the community that this is not new taxes, that it's just a continuation of what I think we've come to expect as a standard for North Clackamas schools, a certain number of teachers, a certain number of students per classroom, and that we're going to move forward, not back. So thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Wei.
Thank you. Well, unfortunately, I was not able to attend the summer conference this year, although in previous years I've gone and I've participated. But what I looked really forward to this year was seeing all the kids' photos of the back to school that it's just been flooding all over my Facebook. And some of the parents are really creative. Y'all are really good with the photos and, the little signs that kids hold up. So it's just been a real treat. And of course, just talking to parents and community about the excitement of the school year starting, but also a lot of nerves and, just balancing, right, all of it for a lot of working families. So we'll continue to, keep those voices at the forefront, of course, when we make different decisions. But all in all, it's just been going very smooth. And next month, I hope to give a fuller report. I've been involved with the Legislative Policy Committee. I know that Director Bauer touched on that a little bit with just all of the last legislation that have passed, and just, how different districts are going to be implementing new laws. And I'll also give a report on the school board members of color group that I've been a part of as well. Save it for next time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Director Kemp.
Yeah, this was my first summer session with the OSBA conference, and it was good. Learned a lot, all new for me as well. Looking forward to going to some more conferences. I guess the other thing that I noticed and heard from meeting other school board administrators across the state is how many similar problems we face regardless of where you're at in the state. And then also hearing about some unique problems that other districts face that we may not face here. So it's good to hear from everybody around the state, and we're all marching, we're all working for the best of our kids across the state. I also want to stress the importance of the passage of the levy. I was at View Acres last week and had some really good conversations with a number of parents there, and was able to show them some of the information we have on the impacts to each of the schools and the staff level that may be impacted if the levy doesn't pass. And also just talked about, everybody I talked to supported it, encouraged them to also talk to their neighbors and other parents to support it and get the word out, and gave out a lot of flyers. So that was good. And I think the last thing is my daughter's a teacher in another district, and I got a glowing report from her. She's very happy with the kids she has this year. So that's always a good way to start the year in my book. So thank you.
Thank you. Director McVeigh.
Well, I didn't attend OSBA, but I was heavily involved in early childhood education with my 20-month-old and my 6-month-old grandchild in a classroom of 2, and sometimes in a tent of all three of us. So that was a lot of fun. And a lot of plastic pools.
All right. Thank you. And Director Wachter.
First time OSBA. It was really great. I was there one of the 2 days, and I guess what impressed me most, two things, was just the room full of community members, hundreds of them, all showing up, locking arms to do what's right and best for our children across the state. That was really made a huge impression on me. My favorite session is the second thing I want to talk about. It was the finance session, which went into extraordinary detail. No, I was with it. I was for it. And there was a great presenter that talked through financial policies and a lot of the things that started to click for me and will be hopefully a good foundation for what we're working with in North Clackamas as well. I wanted to also say thank you to Director Bauer. She's been behind the scenes working so hard on this North Clackamas teachers levy and texts me about 85 times per day, but I'm glad to support it. I absolutely endorse it. I'm trying to get others to endorse it. This is the most important thing that I can do. And, in the time I have available is to help encourage and build endorsements before the voters pamphlet is finalized. So super important. Looking forward to putting on my door knocking shoes if I need them, because we got to get this passed. Super important. And I started helping my daughter who started her freshman year of high school at Clackamas. This is my 4th student at Clackamas High. I texted her today, how is high school? Classic teenager response, cool.
All right, thank you. And excuse me. And I also was able to attend OSBA. I always just find it so inspiring. You're just in Director Wachter really summed it up. It was just a great group of people that really care about kids and care about teachers and care about the future of education. And it's kind of amazing to be in a room like that with that kind of energy. The keynote speaker was Dr. John Hodge, and he was amazing. And he put a quote up on the board that I still remember. And he said, significant learning does not happen without significant relationships. And I thought, that's really something that we are so good at in North Clackamas, where we build those relationships. And this levy is going to help continue that work so that we can keep these amazing administrators and amazing teachers that want to come to us. And we want to be able to take care of them and keep them here and keep our class sizes where they are and do the absolute level best we can for our kids. So I think it's a great start to the year. I was also able to go to the open house at Oak Grove, and it was just so cute. They're just so adorable. And I will tell you, they're so careful. I love the care that the staff takes with the kids, because they're talking to every parent, talking to every student. How are you getting home? Are you doing it on the first day or only on the second day? And it was just amazing to see the time and attention that goes in. Just so inspiring to see our staff be so careful and so cautious with our kids. So just really wonderful to be there. So thank you so much for an opportunity to share. All right. And next on the agenda is the North Clackamas School District 2024-2025 budget calendar discussion. So I welcome Executive Director of Finance and Business Services, Matthew McCara. Welcome.
Welcome and good evening, board. Tonight, I am bringing forward 2 discussion items. The first item is the budget calendar for the 24-25 year. This calendar includes 3 informational meetings, 1 in March and 2 in April. The first official budget committee meeting is scheduled for April 30th, when the budget message will be presented to the budget committee, with the second meeting for budget approval to be held on May 14th. Final action on the budget will be budget adoption by the board at the board meeting on June 6th. Are there any questions?
Is there any discussion or any questions? All right, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now on to our budget committee vacancies discussion. So next on the agenda is the budget committee vacancies. I welcome again Executive Director of Finance and Business Services, Matthew McCara.
The second item for discussion tonight is regarding budget committee vacancies. There are 3 vacant positions. 2 of the vacancies resulted from budget committee members taking roles within the district. I believe both are here. And a third member was term limited and not eligible for reinstatement. A fourth member had a term that expired on June 30, but is eligible for reappointment and has indicated an interest in that. At the meeting on the 21st, the board will take action to declare the positions vacant and open them for applications and also formalize the process for selection.
All right. So time is now set aside for us to talk about the features that we like to see in the application, interview questions, and selection process. You will find the documents used last year in your board packet. I will open up the discussion about the budget committee application process. Would you like me to read the processes from last year, or we have all read that? All right. Is there any discussion or anything that we would like to consider? So things to consider: do we want the same process? Will the interviews be in person or via Zoom? Do we want to use the same set of questions or a new set? What are we looking for when choosing a rubric? And do we choose for each open position, choose the top 3, or other ideas? Does anyone have an opinion or?
Well, I like the process. If we have an existing budget member that's interested, would they need to be interviewed?
I would.
What was that question? I didn't.
If we have a current budget member that's interested and is eligible, would they need to go through the process? Since we've approved them before.
Superintendent James?
We will double check to make sure that you guys have the latitude to make that decision with the process of vacancy. So we'll double check that that's correct and get back to you.
Okay, so we'll double check, but I think in the past, they were just able to continue. They said whether they were interested or not, and they didn't have to go through the process one more time. All right.
That was my memory of
Yeah.
that too.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So any thoughts on the process or how we interview or the questions that we ask?
Chair Benaloga, I just remember from last year, we did not have enough questions, I think, on the actual interview. That went really fast. I think there's more and perhaps, changing some of the questions. I think it would be good to take a look at those again. But the interview, I think we could dig a little deeper in the in-person. I liked the written. And if we got quite a few, the video was valuable. But if we only get a couple, I don't know. I'm just questioning.
So the proposed timeline says that applications and videos would be due October 13th. And then the interviews would then, and we would do those in person, would take place on November, or we would decide to do those in person if we're going to, November 2nd. And then appointments to the budget committee would be made November 9th. So how do we feel? Is there other interest in having a committee look at the questions?
I think so. We can at least, talk it over. I would say I agree because I was in one of those. I was interviewing one of those interviews that they're pretty short. The questions were pretty short, but I also don't want to overload community members who are interested and whose time is very valuable in process. And so, the application is a chunk of time out of their lives. The video, answers to questions is another chunk of time out of their lives. The interview question is another chunk of time. And I just would, I think, rather see it. We can increase the quantity or quality of information that we have access to, but maybe streamline that process a little bit, so it's not so intrusive. These are just regular folks. So.
So I'm hearing some interest in maybe not having the video submissions. Are you thinking? Okay, all right. Thank you for that. All right. Vice Chair Wei?
I want to just echo Director Bowers and Director Dobson's comment around the number of questions and again, the spectrum, right, of sometimes folks were great at like filling out the whole time, others just very short and very concise. So this might get too detailed, but just for what it's worth, maybe one option that the committee or the subcommittee that's kind of looking at this process can take a look at is if we want to say up front, to folks that we're interviewing, each question will be, up to 5 minutes or up to 3 minutes. And then that way, as they're prepping, they know that, okay, you're basically right, you can fill up to this time, because I think maybe for some applicants, they were just like 30 seconds and I'm like, I'm done. And then there was a lot of airtime. So that could be helpful.
Thank you. Is there any other comment or discussion? Director McVeigh? All right. Thank you. Thank you. Cannot be there. Okay. All right. So at this point, do we need to, I'm assuming we need to appoint a committee to look at the questions, and do we need to vote on the process? To not have video submissions and to just have live interviews? Do we vote on that or no? Okay, we can agree here. Okay. Would Director Bauer and Director Dobson like to take a look at those questions for live interviews?
Yeah, I could do that. I really, I mean, it's good to have some new voices, because I think you and I did those before. So I do appreciate a new look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, I will help. I'll make myself available, but if there's any other new board members that would like to get their voice
Director
in,
Wachter, Director
I'd be
Kemp?
happy to participate in that.
Excellent.
great. Yeah.
So Director Wachter, Director Bauer, and Director Dobson will take a look at the questions, and we will move forward with the process with no longer having the videos then. And is there any other question or discussion over the applications due by the 13th? The interviews will take place on the 2nd, and then the appointments to the budget committee would be made on November 9th. Is there any discussion around that timeline? All right, excellent. Thank you. So next on the agenda is policy revision discussion. I welcome Assistant Superintendent of Operations, Cindy Detchen.
Thank you and good evening. This agenda item is per your request from the August 24th board governance meeting. Board members at that meeting expressed an interest in reviewing and considering a modification to the current policy BDDH, which is oversees our public comment at board meetings. A draft has been developed for you. It is in your board packet. I will point out that the only change that you expressed an interest in discussing at that time was under number 2 for the procedures, which would change the amount of the presentation time for community members from 2 minutes to 3 minutes. So this is for your discussion, and I'm here to take notes or answer questions if I can.
All right, thank you. Is there any discussion around this policy revision? We can give everyone time to read over and then vote next meeting. What is the desire of the board?
I make a motion, we move this to an action item.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Director McVeigh and seconded by Director Bauer that we move this from discussion to action. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, vote by the, I'm so used to saying vote by the voting sign of the order, and I'm not supposed to say. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Excellent. Motion passes 7-0. We will move this from discussion to action. So now now that we have policy revision as an action item, do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the NCSD Board Policy BDDH with the changes attached.
Do we have a second?
Director Dobson, second.
Excellent. It's been moved by Director McVeigh and seconded by Director Dobson that we adopt the proposed policy BDDH. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All
Aye.
those opposed? Excellent. Motion passes 7-0. We have adopted the revised and updated policy. So it is now 7:30 PM and this public meeting of the North Clackamas School District Board of Directors is adjourned. Have a good evening.